What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Live Fam Game. Now, today we're going to be watching the worst Olympic game deaths ever by Simple Paint. I've already said it in this last video. I'm going to say it in all of the rest of the videos that's being posted today, but I am sick and stuff. So if I'm coughing, sneezing, you know, wiping my nose and stuff, I'm sorry, all right? I'm going through it, but I got to get these videos to you guys. So let's check this out, chat. Olympic deaths. Now, obviously we watched something like sports deaths, so I wonder if this is going to be like kind of familiar, maybe some same deaths or not. But yeah, chat, is by Simple Paint, so make sure you guys go subscribe to him if you guys want to see more of these type of videos. And without further ado, make sure to grab your popcorn and let's see.
1912 Stockholm Olympics.
All right, I ain't gonna lie. Why bro look like somebody pissed on him, bro? What is that?
On July 14th, 1912, Portuguese
1912?
marathon runner Francisco Lázaro lined up in Stockholm for what would become the...
All right, let's be honest. This is kind of a sick name, bro. Francisco Lázaro. That's a cool name.
Lined up in Stockholm for what would become the deadliest marathon in Olympic history. The 21-year-old carpenter from Porto had trained in Portugal's moderate climate. At 1:45 p.m., temperatures reached 90 degrees Fahrenheit with oppressive humidity, making the 26-mile course.
Yo, that's one thing I hate about humidity, bro. It can be any like degrees and stuff, and it could be hot. Like, okay, just compare 90 degrees with humidity versus 90 degrees without humidity. It's gonna feel way less hot without humidity, and it's also gonna not feel as disgusting outside, bro. You literally feel like you're getting oiled up by something. Like, it's so annoying, especially people like me that sweat so much. Like, you're already in a puddle, you know what I'm saying? Just walking like a mile or so. So imagine how it is when it's humid. Like, no.
Making the 26-mile course a furnace of asphalt and dust. Before the race, Lázaro made a fatal decision. To protect himself from sunburn, he covered his entire body with a thick layer of beef fat and wax, creating
what? Like, who just thinks of that and just does that? Beef fat wax. Like, where did you get that from?
He covered his entire body with a thick layer of beef fat and wax, creating what he believed would be protective coating against the sun's rays. Instead, he had sealed his skin in a waterproof barrier that would prevent his body from cooling through perspiration.
As
the 69 runners began the marathon.
69 runners? Really, dude? It's got, like, you just had to have 69 runners?
Lázaro started conservatively, running alongside competitors from Sweden, Finland, and South Africa. The early miles passed without incident, but as runners moved through the Swedish countryside, the sun climbed higher and temperatures continued rising. By halfway, several runners had collapsed from heat exhaustion and been pulled from the course.
But I feel like just marathons in general is just like a high risk of dying, or at least getting severely injured in general, chat. Because like in a marathon, obviously you're running, what is it, like 30 miles or so on average or something like that? Either way, it's a lot of miles, of course. It's a marathon. But obviously, like, your body can literally break down. You know what I'm saying? Like, our body already break down just doing a mile. Like, if we haven't exercised in a long time, super overweight, not have enough hydration and stuff, or not eating right, your body can, you know, break down. So imagine doing a marathon and like you don't hydrate that much, or you don't like eat right and stuff. You don't take the right pace and everything. Like, I feel like it's just deadly regardless. Like, you really have to be prepared to do a marathon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just go into a marathon just like, oh, okay, let me just go walk a little bit outside today. No, you can't do that.
Continued despite showing early signs of distress. His breathing became labored, and sweat accumulated beneath the waxy coating, unable to evaporate and cool his body. At the 18.6-mile mark, witnesses reported that Lázaro was staggering and appeared confused, classic symptoms of heat stroke. His core body temperature was rising dangerously as his cooling system failed completely. With just 5 miles remaining, Lázaro collapsed suddenly on the dusty road near Södertälje. Spectators rushed to his aid, finding him unconscious and burning with fever. His skin was pale and clammy beneath the melted wax coating. Swedish medical personnel transported him to Serafimer Hospital in Stockholm, where doctors worked frantically to lower his body temperature. Despite their efforts, Lázaro never regained consciousness. He died the following morning from heat stroke and dehydration, becoming the first athlete to die during Olympic competition.
Like, you're literally not allowing your body to get any type of nutrients or anything, bro. And it's like, bro, I just wonder, where the hell did he get the beef wax from? You know what I'm saying? Was that like a thing back in the day? Because I never heard of that, you know, as a way to protect yourself from UV rays, just the sun, you know? Like, I've literally never heard of that. So I want to know where that came from. But even then, like, nobody knew the repercussions of that. I mean, it's 1912. Like, I guess studies and stuff have not advanced at that point, but still, like, I don't know. I feel like somebody would have known about the repercussions of that.
Becoming the first athlete to die during Olympic competition.
His
death led to new safety protocols for marathon races, including mandatory water stations and temperature monitoring. 2010 Vancouver Olympics. On February 12, 2010, Georgian Luger Nodar Kumaritashvili was making his...
Nodar what? What kind of name is this? Nodar Kumaritashvili. That's low-key a cool name, though. It's long as hell, but it's cool.
Kumaritashvili was making his final practice run on the Whistler Sliding Center track. just hours before the Vancouver Winter Olympics opening ceremony.
That just looks dangerous.
The 21-year-old athlete had trained his entire life for this moment, following his father and uncle, who had both represented Georgia in Luge. The Whistler track was notorious as the fastest and most dangerous in the world, with speeds regularly exceeding 93 miles per hour on its 4,480-foot course. During training weeks,
dude, do you guys not understand how insanely dangerous that is? Like, they're literally on a sled or something, right? Or whatever they're on, but going 93 miles per hour, you know what I'm saying? With your just body out on a 4,000 foot, you know, track.
That's 4,480-foot course.
1,300 meters. That's a long ways, bro. And to be going that fast, I feel like you just freaking trip over a rock or something, you're done.
During training weeks, several athletes had crashed, raising safety concerns. Italian luger Armin Zögler had publicly criticized the track's design, calling it too fast and dangerous. Romanian racer Violeta Stramturaru had suffered a concussion after losing control, and several others had experienced crashes that damaged their equipment. At 4:44 p.m., Kumaritashvili began his run from the men's...
So they had all these warnings and people warning about it, people, you know, speaking out about it, and still nothing was done, bro. Like, they just let these professional athletes just risk their lives pretty much. Like, I know everything's a risk. Like, you can't just take away risk from any physical activity, especially when it comes to like the Olympics and stuff. But I mean, if people are literally talking out about it, they're practicing beforehand and then, you know, spot out some deficiencies, like they should be able to take care of that, right?
Kumaritashvili began his run from the men's start position, lying on his back on the small sled as he accelerated down the icy track. The first several turns passed normally as his speed increased. By the track's most challenging section, he was traveling at approximately 90 miles per hour, within normal range for experienced lugers. As Kumaritashvili approached turn 15, known as 50-50, something went wrong with his steering.
Bro, I feel like it's these turns that are the most deadly, bro. Not even like if they're just going like straight forward, then it'd be the whole different story. But these little curves right here, like that's where things can go wrong. Especially like this big ass curve, or this looks like really steep right here, or even right here, bro. How are they supposed to navigate through those?
Something went wrong with his steering. Video analysis showed his sled began drifting slightly left toward the outer wall. He attempted to correct by applying pressure with his right leg, but the adjustment came too late and was too aggressive. His sled suddenly shot up the banking of turn 16, launching him into the air like a projectile. He was thrown from the sled at over 87 miles per hour, flying several yards before striking a steel support pillar.
They don't use seatbelts or something, bro? Like, why is he just flying out like this?
Launching him into the air like a projectile. He was thrown from the sled at over 87 miles per hour, flying several yards before striking a steel support pillar holding timing equipment. The impact was horrific, causing massive trauma to his head and chest. Medical personnel reached him within minutes and attempted CPR, but the injuries were
that's way too late. That's the thing. When you get smacked against a wall or something like that, that's just like internal, you know what I'm saying, bleeding and stuff too. Your organs fucked up and that could be it, bro.
But the injuries
no chance for that.
Unsurvivable. He was pronounced dead at Whistler Healthcare Center at 5:50 p.m., just hours before the opening ceremony.
That's the thing. I feel like there should be some type of padding or something. Like, they should be prepared for something like this to happen, you know? Because it doesn't look like the actual player himself did something wrong other than, you know, steer a little off course. But like I said, there should have been precautions taken to where if somebody does fuck up, they're not literally gonna fly out and die. Like, come on.
5:50 p.m., just hours before the opening ceremony. Track modifications were immediately implemented, including higher walls and padding around steel supports.
Like, how is that not a thing in the first place? Like, it's just so careless to not even do that. Like, I would think of that myself. If I'm looking at this track and looking, they're riding on things that don't have seatbelts. There's very strong curves and poles all around. Like, how is it not common sense that we need to pad everything up, bro?
1992, Albertville Winter Olympics. On February 22nd, 1992, Swiss speed skier Nicolas Bochete was preparing for a routine training run at Val d'Isère during the Albertville Winter Olympics. The 27-year-old athlete was in France for a demonstration event showcasing speed skiing, where skiers reach speeds exceeding 125 miles.
That's fucking insane, bro. Like, I always want to ski. That's like one of the bucket list things I want to do, is going to like a mountain, snowy, and ski and stuff. But I do realize how dangerous it can be. Imagine going 125 miles per hour on a ski, dude. Like, you know how we go on cars, and honestly, it doesn't really feel like you're going, like, it feels like you're going fast. But imagine just feeling like with your body, you know what I'm saying? Like 125 miles per hour, you feel the wind on your body and everything. Like, that would feel insane, dude.
Speeds exceeding 125 miles per hour. Bochete was experienced, but not among the sport's elite competitors. On this morning, Bochete decided to take a casual recreational ski run on regular slopes, away from the speed skiing course. He wasn't wearing specialized speed skiing equipment, instead using standard alpine gear for what was meant to be a relaxing warm-up. Weather conditions were good, with clear skies and well-groomed slopes. At approximately 10:30,
I don't know. I feel like you should always just wear like the same gear regardless of how like quote unquote easy or routine it might be. I don't know. That's just me though.
Bokate was skiing down an intermediate slope when he encountered an unexpected obstacle.
Oh
A
my
snow
gosh.
grooming machine was working on the slope to maintain snow
What?
conditions. These massive vehicles, weighing several tons with powerful engines and wide tracks, are commonly used to prepare and maintain slopes. What happened next remains partially unclear, but witnesses reported that Bokate appeared to lose control or misjudge his line as he approached the grooming machine.
Wow.
Whether due to momentary lapse in concentration, equipment malfunction, or miscalculation, he was unable to avoid the massive vehicle. At his traveling speed, even on an intermediate...
Bro, that's the thing about these type of situations, chat. It's like, as a human, like your reflexes is one or two things, bro. You either get the fuck out of the way and your brain actually works quick and stuff, or you can kind of get caught in like the surprise of it and then you kind of get stuck, bro. Like your body literally gets stuck and you feel like you can't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? And in this case, I feel like that's what happened to this guy. Like, I don't think that he couldn't have swerved or anything. I think he literally just froze up like, oh, why is this shit right in front of me? Like, what's going on? And like, by the time, he tried to react, it's just too late.
His traveling speed, even on an intermediate slope, there was no time for evasive maneuvers once he realized the danger.
Damn.
Bokate collided with the rear of the snow grooming machine with tremendous force, suffering massive traumatic injuries that proved immediately fatal. The impact was so severe that survival was impossible, despite immediate response from resort personnel and medical teams. His death sent shockwaves through the Olympic community and speed skiing world, leading to increased safety protocols for demonstration events and stricter guidelines for athlete and resort operations interaction.
Bro, I feel like these trucks should have huge sirens or something, huge lights, should make noise every time they're moving, especially if it's like a slope or a thing that people casually just go down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, why did he not see this? You know what I'm saying? Or be aware that it's there. Was it that fucking quiet? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm sure he didn't have headphones on or something, but either way, like, how is it not loud enough or, sensible enough for him to see beforehand?
Olympic Games. 1960 Rome Olympics. On August 26, 1960, Danish cyclist Knud Enemark Jensen lined up for the 62-mile team time trial at the Rome Olympics, unaware he was about to become the first athlete to die from drug use during Olympic competition. The 23-year-old was part of Denmark's four-man cycling team, competing in the grueling road race under scorching Italian sun, with temperatures reaching 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Jensen had been taking Ronnicol, a blood circulation stimulant legal at the time, but later banned due to dangerous side effects, especially when...
Yeah, that just looks like it's a risk, bro. Anything that makes your blood circulate in a certain way and does anything to manipulate with your blood, that just sounds lethal. Sorry, guys.
But later banned due to dangerous side effects, especially when combined with extreme exertion and heat. The medication was commonly used by endurance athletes who believed it improved performance by increasing blood flow, but its effects in hot conditions were poorly understood. At 2 p.m., the Danish team began racing from Terme de Caracalla, with Jensen taking his turn at the front as they battled oppressive heat and the challenging course through Roman countryside. The team time trial required all four cyclists to work together, maintaining high speeds throughout the 62-mile distance. For the first hour, Jensen appeared to handle conditions well, rotating through the pace line and maintaining the rapid tempo necessary for Olympic competition. However, as the race progressed and afternoon heat intensified, Jensen began showing distress that teammates initially attributed to normal racing fatigue. His pedaling became less smooth, and he struggled to maintain position during his front turns. By the 54-mile mark, with just 8 miles remaining, Jensen was clearly in trouble. His teammates noticed he was weaving slightly and seemed disoriented, but encouraged him to continue rather than recognizing developing medical emergency signs. With 5 miles remaining, Jensen suddenly collapsed while riding, falling from his bicycle onto hot asphalt.
Like, I'm sorry, like, your teammates' life is not worth you guys finishing a fucking race, bro. Like, you need to get immediate attention. Like, all three of you guys look fine and everything. You see him just out of nowhere start getting dizzy or swerving and stuff, bro. You gotta stop and figure out what's going on, bro.
Teammates and race officials immediately stopped to assist, finding him unconscious with severe heat stroke signs. His body temperature was dangerously high, breathing labored and irregular. Italian medical personnel transported Jensen to a Rome hospital, where doctors worked to lower his body temperature and stabilize his condition. Despite their efforts, Jensen died several hours later from heat stroke exacerbated by the circulation stimulant. The autopsy revealed that Raniakal,
That's the thing. Once you have like strokes, especially, you know, when it correlates with just stress or like overuse of anything, heat and stuff like this, it's very, very hard for your body to recover, bro. That's why like strokes are literally so fucking, they're so bad for you. And if you have it, it can literally alter your life, alter even like parts of your face can become paralyzed and stuff. Your thinking can be off. Like a whole bunch of things can happen as a result of the stroke. But yeah, this is crazy, bro. Like when it's internal, that's when you have most of the chance to die, bro. Like low key, even when it's your freaking arm gets chopped off, your leg gets chopped off, something you get cut or whatever, even shot and stuff, like things like that, you have like a better chance at living, honestly, than if something's going on internally inside you, bro.
extreme heat and intense exertion had overwhelmed his body's temperature regulation ability, leading to the first serious Olympic drug testing discussions. 1964,
Damn.
Innsbruck Winter Olympics. On January 25th,
and that's also crazy to think about back then, like how people didn't really know, they didn't have enough research back then on to like what not to take and what it does. Like goes all the way to the first instance when the guy put like the beef wax all over him. Like I feel like if there was a lot more research, a lot more advanced and stuff, scientists speaking out and stuff and having platforms, shit like that wouldn't happen. But you know, back then they just didn't know. Like they just went off of what certain other people said, probably either friends and family, and they just do it and then they find out the hard way, bro.
Discussions. 1964, Innsbruck Winter Olympics. On January 25th, 1964, Australian alpine skier Ross Milne was training on the downhill course at Paterkofel Mountain above Innsbruck, preparing for the Winter Olympics beginning in days. The 19-year-old from Sydney was one of Australia's most promising young skiers, representing his country despite limited access to world.
Hey, I feel like we've watched a couple like Winter Olympics with this whole sledding and skiing and stuff. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me though, because I mean they're doing lots of their things on, you know, mountains and stuff, going down slopes and steep turns and everything. So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of deaths are on like these types of Olympic sports.
Despite limited access to world-class training facilities and snow conditions at home, Milne had arrived weeks early to acclimatize to challenging European racing conditions and familiarize himself with the Olympic downhill course, known for its technical difficulty and high speeds. The Paterkofel downhill was considered one of the most challenging courses on the international circuit, featuring a vertical drop of over 2,850 feet and sections where skiers routinely exceeded 81 miles per hour. The course included several technical sections with sharp turns and elevation changes, demanding precise technique and split-second timing. During his training run, Milne was skiing at racing speed through the upper section when he encountered a particularly challenging sequence of turns requiring precise line selection and expert technique.
That's so
Snow
dangerous.
Conditions were firm and fast.
Like going that fast and having to at the same time weave your way, turn and everything. Like literally just one little misstep and you're done, bro. You know what I'm saying?
For World Cup level racing, but unforgiving for any technical errors.
Well,
as Milne approached a sharp left-hand turn at high speed, something went wrong with either his equipment or technique, causing him to lose control of his skis. In Olympic-level downhill, the margin for error is virtually zero, and once a skier loses control at racing speeds, recovery becomes nearly impossible. Video footage showed Milne attempting to regain control as his skis drifted wide of the intended racing line. Fighting to bring his skis back under control, he was carried off the prepared racing surface into trees. At his estimated speed of over 62 miles per hour, the impact with trees was catastrophic. Milne struck several large pine trees sequentially, suffering massive trauma that proved instantly fatal. Ski patrol and medical.
That's the thing. Like, you think you could swerve or you do anything about this, chat? No, you're going 60 miles per hour, lose control of your thing or whatever. Like, it's just destiny, whatever happens from there on. Cause like, you can't stop yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not like an emergency brake you can do or anything. You just keep going. You just hope you can weave your way through it.
Suffering massive trauma that proved instantly fatal. Ski patrol and medical personnel reached the accident site within minutes, but survival was impossible given impact severity. His death shocked the Olympic community and led to improved downhill course safety measures, including wider safety margins between racing lines and obstacles, better protective barriers, and more rigorous course inspection procedures still used in international ski racing today. Athens 2000.
It's like you literally, in order to do those skiing Olympics and so, you literally have to be 100% focused, bro. Something can go wrong. That's why they have to wear a whole bunch of protective gear and stuff. But you know, I feel like it's also on the, you know, the event holders' responsibility to like pad up anything they could potentially crash into. You know, have certain guidelines on how steep certain turns can be. Obviously, they do as the time goes, but back then they didn't really have any, you know, strict guidelines or whatever. But they gotta listen to people that are complaining about it as well, because if they don't, then bad things happens like that.
And Rio 2016. Olympic venue construction has claimed numerous lives, but Athens 2004 and Rio 2016 stand out for their tragic worker tolls. In Athens, the rush to complete venues created dangerous working conditions that proved fatal for multiple construction workers. On March 15, 2004, months before the Games, 45-year-old Dimitris Antonopoulos was working on the
Demetrius
Olympic
Antonopoulos.
Stadium roof when
Why all these people have cool ass names, bro? Why they gotta go so early?
safety cables failed.
Oh my
Antonopoulos
gosh.
fell 100 feet to his death while installing lighting
Wow.
equipment. The Greek government had delayed construction for years due to bureaucratic problems, forcing contractors to work around the clock to meet deadlines. Workers regularly worked 16-hour shifts without adequate rest, and safety protocols were often ignored. Another
Damn,
worker,
bro.
38-year-old crane operator,
That's always where things go wrong, bro. You know what I'm saying? You have to cut corners and stuff or whatever. It's not because necessarily they wanted to, but they feel like they kind of have to because of their strenuous work conditions.
Georgiou, died when his crane collapsed while lifting steel beams for the Aquatic Center on June 2, 2004. The crane operated beyond rated capacity due to construction acceleration pressure, and inadequate ground preparation caused the massive machine to tip over, crushing Georgiou in the operator's cab. At least 4 construction workers died building Athens Olympic venues, with dozens more suffering serious injuries. The Rio 2016 situation was even deadlier, with Brazilian authorities acknowledging at least 11 construction worker deaths
11,
related
dude?
to Olympic venues.
Jesus Christ. Like, what is going on? It makes sense. Like, when they build these Olympic venues and stuff, obviously it's huge. It has to be huge because it's hosting people from all around the world and stuff. But it's like, fuck, bro. Like, what? Like, why are they not taking certain precautions? But, you know, like I said, they're under time crunch and stuff, and they're not, you know, super on the safety protocols and stuff. And these people don't care. Like, the people that just pay for it or whatever, they don't care. They're just like, all right, we just want it done, bro, you know?
Related to Olympic venues. On March 27, 2013, Anderson da Silva Santos was installing concrete forms at Olympic Park when a crane collapsed during high winds, killing Santos and injuring 4 others. The 440,000-pound crane operated in wind conditions exceeding safety guidelines due to schedule pressure. On April 3, 2014.
That's what I'm saying, bro. They want to get it done quick, and it's just like, you know, yeah, I mean, the Olympics only comes around once every, what is it, 4 years? So obviously everything has to be done pretty quick and stuff, but it's like, fuck, like, it sucks for the people that have to actually work that because they're literally going against safety conditions no matter what, just because they have to get it done in time.
2 more workers died when the Itacarão Stadium roof section collapsed during installation. Fabio Luis Pereira and Ronaldo Oliveira dos Santos were crushed by falling concrete and steel, victims of inadequate structural support. The most tragic incident occurred April 21, 2016, when a bicycle path built for Olympic cycling events collapsed into the ocean, killing 2 people. The elevated path over Guanabara Bay suffered.
That's another thing about the rush building process too, is that not only the workers get hurt and stuff, but people around the building structures can get hurt as well, because if they're on a time crunch, that means they're rushing things, which means that, you know, certain things could be looked over. So it's like, it literally is a lose-lose for everyone, like, most of the time.
Design flaws and construction shortcuts.
Yeah,
Brazilian investigators revealed systemic problems, including substandard materials, inadequate safety training, and pressure to cut corners to meet deadlines and budgets. These deaths highlighted the human cost of hosting Olympics and led to improved international oversight of construction projects. If you'd like to see more stories like this,
that's crazy,
make sure to subscribe and feel free to drop suggestions for the next.
You know what I'm saying? Go subscribe to him if you guys want to see more of these videos. Videos are always peak, bro. You know what I'm saying? RIP to all these people in the videos and stuff. And yeah, chat, let me know what else you guys want me to react to. And I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.